So for chapter 10, section 2, it's going to be on the Olympics. So we're going to talk about some of the math that goes into the scoring of some of the events in the Olympics. So first, a few facts about the Olympics. They are held every 4 years. There are over 30 sports and over 400 events in the Summer Olympics. A sport might be like swimming, and an event would be, the 100-meter freestyle or something. So 30 sports, 400 events, and then there are over 15 sports and over 100 events in the Winter Olympics. So like the Winter Olympics, a sport might be downhill skiing, and then an event would be, the giant slalom or something like that. So there are fewer sports but many events within each sport. So we'll first talk about example 1 and analyze this graph. So it says analyzing the winning times, and it shows every year, so every 4 years when they've had Olympics, what the winning time would be. So in 1968, the winning time was about 1:15. And then in 1972, it was down to about 1:13. In 1976, it was a little over 1:10. And you can see what it is for each time. And they have highlighted the 3 times when it was a USA athlete. So it says, describe the pattern in the graph. And I would say it really looks like not every single time does it go, faster and, less seconds. Because in 1996 it did go up, but for the most part, over time, the winning times have decreased. So the trend, you could say, is over time, the winning times have decreased. When you're describing a trend or a pattern, you just say something kind of in general. Next up, example 2. So example 2 says pole vaulting has been an event at the Olympic Games since 1896 for men and since 2000 for women. Early Olympians used solid wood or bamboo poles. Describe the pattern of the winning heights for men's pole vaulting from 1896 through 2008, when you think fiberglass poles are first used. So we will look at the graph here. Now this one's going up because you want to get a higher result, where when we were looking at example 1, with a time, you want less time with this race. So here we do see the heights of the jumps going up, and we'll look here. They do go up over time, and so up, 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 and then up, up, up. And I would say, as they leveled out here, right before we start to see this now where it's going up, up, up pretty significantly, I would say this is probably where it levels out, where they were using wood. And then as they started to have an increase, right here, this is probably where they started using a different type of pole. So I would say around 1960 is probably about when they started using a different type of pole. All right, example 3. The graph shows the winning times for the men's 1,500 meter speed skating event through 1924 through 2010. Describe the pattern in the graph. Definitely decreases slightly over time. There is one outlier, and we don't know what happened there, but it's quite significant, and so I'm going to look that up and see what happened. But I would say a gradual decrease over time. And then we'll take a look at that outlier. I did look that up. So outlier in 1932. And what happened in 1932 is that's the first year of competing in small packs versus individually. So if you've ever watched speed skating, now what tends to happen is they pace themselves, and so it's not an all-out sprint the entire time. They'll go slower at the beginning and then sprint at the end. And so this year is the first year where they use the idea of a small pack, and so they would draft off of each other and then start to sprint at the end. And so they must have had a slower time as people were figuring that out. So kind of interesting.